So once again, just to recap this chapter 7 of the Tanya, you're speaking about mainly the Klipat Noga, right? Which, as we explained, is the neutral realm of this world. And we delve into this quite a bit. But the last point, going deeper into Klipat Noga, this neutral realm, and how we can and should elevate it to the holy realm by using it for good, using it for our service to Hashem. Rabbi Steins also pointed out something that was maybe very harsh, but very true also. That is that a person can also do mitzvahs, good holy acts, but they remain sort of in the Klipat Noga, sort of. Why? Because he does them just for his own personal gain, for his own personal selfish gain. And if that's the case, then you are really using the Torah and using the mitzvahs for yourself. So there's nothing really holy about that. It's selfish, it's egotistic at the end of the day. So it can't be holy. And therefore, even when we do mitzvahs, we have to have in mind, and we're doing mitzvahs not for ourselves, but again, to elevate this world, to elevate the neutral realm of this world, the Klipat Noga, into the holy realm. He told stories about this and so on, but I suggest we continue here at the bottom of page 177. Does anyone want to read? For in this world, called the world of action. Anyone? I guess Margot, go for it. Thank you.
Okay. For in this world called the world of action, virtually all of the Klipa Noga is negative, and only a little good is intermingled within it. Klipa Noga is the luminescent husk, a veil of darkness that nevertheless has a gleam of light to it. It is a klipa that is not wholly evil, but also has some good in it. The extent of this good varies in the four worlds that constitute the primary phases of the Seder Ha'ish Talshilut, the chain of evolution, by which our material world evolves from the spiritual essence of creation. In the highest link of the chain, the world of emanation, Atzilut, the world is wholly good. In the world of creation, Bria, it is mostly good, but something from an obscuring husk has already been formed. In the world of formation, Yitzira, it is equal parts light and darkness. In our world of action, Asiya, it is virtually entirely dark, manifesting but the faintest glimmer of divine light.
Right. That also explains, so again, if this fourth world, our world, the world of action, is a world by contrast to Atzilut, another world, that is a world that is mostly dark and just a little bit of light, then it emphasizes our duty really to transform the darkness into light. And by the way, that may explain why this world is indeed the world that's filled with challenges and impediments and obstacles, because all of that is part of darkness. In Atzilut, you don't have much challenges. In the world of emanation, the first world, in the world of creation, also in the second world, you don't have much challenges. Why? Because the light there is prevalent, it's dominant, and there's no room, therefore, for darkness. But in our world, where darkness rules, there are many challenges that come with darkness. And in a way, every challenge is there to give us the opportunity to elevate that darkness into light. And that's why we don't flee from challenges, or we don't try to fight them. The Jewish approach is that we try to elevate them and extract maybe the blessing from them, as hard as it can be sometimes. But again, because this is a world in which we are put in order to elevate those challenges and to transform darkness into light. That's the essence of this world. Most of it is darkness, and it's up to us to transform it. By the way, it connects to Hanukkah coming up in 2 weeks, or what is it now? 3 weeks. 2 weeks or 3 weeks? 2 weeks. Wow. In 2 weeks, yeah, 2 weeks from tonight, I believe. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, correct.
2 weeks, right? 2 weeks from tonight. That's the whole idea of Hanukkah. That's why we light the menorah either by windowsill that's facing the public or by the entrance of our home, in which people come in and come out. And again, is to remind us of our mission in life. Everyone has their own unique way of doing that mission, but it's to bring light to darkness and expel the darkness. That's why God created us. Otherwise, he would have left us in the Olam Atzilut, where everything is bliss. But Olam Briah, whichever world we may belong to, most souls come from the world of creation. The world of the righteous come from the souls of the righteous come from the world of emanation, that first world. But regardless, God would have left us there. If he put us in this world, is to do what Hanukkah does, bring light to the darkness, and by doing so, expelling it. That's the idea. It's engaging ourselves with Klipat Noga and transforming it. Okay. Do want to add that, you know, speaking of challenges, I think that the challenges that we face are also a part of. So we said that the general mission is to expel darkness, to eliminate this world and expel darkness. How do we know what? How do I know what my specific mission is in that theme of expelling darkness through light? I know it simply by opening up my eyes to the challenges that I currently face. If I face these challenges, it's because God is counting on me to illuminate that specific darkness. Otherwise, he would give this challenge to someone else. But the fact that I have this challenge right now, it's because that's part of my specific mission. If I can do this and face this challenge by, again, illuminating it and elevating it, and someone else can face his challenge or her challenge by facing it and illuminating it, then all these challenges that compose really the darkness of this world will then also be elevated, and this world can be redeemed. But the challenges that I have right now are the challenges that were given to me because God entrusts me with this mission of transforming that specific challenge into an opportunity, into light. Otherwise, again, he would have given the challenge to someone else. And that's how we know, in a way, what light I have to bring to the world, what darkness I have to face, and what light I have to bring to this world by the challenges that God gives me. Anyhow, that's just to be more specific about our mission than being just general. But I'd love to hear your comments, otherwise we can continue. Or disagreements, or yes, Ronnie, please.
So let me get back to my first question, the four worlds.
Yes.
Why is that important to me? What do I need to be observant of, looking at the four worlds and understanding?
Right. It's a good question. Well, first, it's to teach us that we don't live a one-dimensional life. We live a four-dimensional life, right? And that gives us a sense, in a way, of accountability, a sense of spirituality, and a sense of meaning too. That maybe is the general response to that. Secondly, it's to teach us that idea that Kabbalah speaks about quite a bit, of Tzimtzum. We spoke about this quite a bit too, of God's light being contracted, and that all these worlds, in a way, are worlds in which that have contracted God's light more and more and more until it reached us. And in a way, it gives us this idea, as we face God's light that is in a way imprisoned in this world, that there is so much it can become. There's so much we can do. If we only knew about this world, then we would not know about the power of God's light and its ability truly to transform nature. We would think that's the way it is, and that's the way it will always be. But looking at the world of action, looking at the world of formation, then looking at the world of creation, then even higher than that, looking at the world of emanation, we see the power of God's light and how it can truly invade an entire world and elevate it to a level that is sometimes even beyond thought. Then that idea itself empowers us to then face this world and peel it, like we've been speaking about, so that the light of God in this world can be at least as powerful as it is in other worlds.
If you think I understood anything you said, I'm sorry.
I'll give you a simple analogy, not knowing if this is a good one, but let's look at the human being. If my if I'm a young parent and I have a baby, and my baby just began walking, but I don't know that there's another stage in which they mature even more and they start speaking, or I don't know that there's another change, another stage in that growth where they start actually thinking and maybe becoming responsible for their own actions. And I don't know that there's another stage in which they themselves, these babies, can really make an impact in this world. All I know, because I'm a young parent and maybe I'm completely enclosed in my own four walls, all I know is that there's a baby. So, and a baby that knows how to walk and dabble and who knows what. If that's all I know, then really I won't have any encouragement or any desire to develop my baby, because that's my dimension. That's the world I live in. The fact that I know that human beings do grow and human beings can make an impact and human beings can really think by their own and do, great things, is giving me the power, the inspiration to then raise this child that I have into that type of human being. Otherwise I would be stuck with, okay, that's the way human beings are, they're like babies. So same here, when God tells me about the world of creation, the world of emanation, and so on, I know the potential of this world. If I only knew about this world, I wouldn't know about the potential and I would leave it alone. But the fact that I know about these worlds and how God's light, again, as mentioned, can be all powerful, all invasive, all uplifting, is giving me the strength to face this world and say, you know what, let's try to transform this world into a world of emanation. Let's raise this baby.
May I ask another question?
Yes.
So how does that go hand in hand with Torah?
That's the whole idea of Torah, I believe. Torah is the map that guides us towards how to do exactly that, how to elevate this world.
So the four worlds that are being referred to are things that we want to become aware of.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
And the four worlds, can we go from, why is it, I'm asking questions, why is it important to me that I know about the world of creation, the world of emanation? Why is it important to me other than the world of action where I live?
Because it shows you the potential that this world has. They say that when Richard Nixon, that's a good example, but it comes to mind. When Richard Nixon ran against John F. Kennedy, everyone loved Kennedy and didn't like Nixon. And Nixon once faced the camera and he said, I know why Americans love Kennedy and they don't like me. Because when they see me, they see who they are. When they see Kennedy, they see who they can become. And in a way, when we see this world, we only see this world the way it is. But the world of emanation and the world of creation remind us of how this world can become. And that's what we have to strive to do in this world. Transform this darkness into light, and then it can become like the world of creation and even higher than that, like those upper worlds. Imagine a world in which everyone has this heightened consciousness that God exists and that goodness therefore must be performed. Now that's maybe sometimes beyond imagination in a world that is so broken and filled with evil. But here we are taught that there are worlds like this, and this world has that potential because it has the same light that just has been contracted. So why give up on it so quickly? Let's transform it into a world that is indeed a world filled with God consciousness, just like it is in the world of emanation and creation and so on. Yes, Ronnie.
So you keep on referring to let's make more light. Is there not and everybody different, but a balance of light and darkness that to bring us to our full potential? We can't eliminate darkness. Darkness is part of the formulas. Is that true?
Well, scientifically, darkness is not an existence in and of itself. darkness is just the absence of light. So if we face darkness, it's simply because we have to add more light. If we can add more light, then darkness will immediately go away, because it's just the absence of light.
Well, another discussion for another time. Thank you. There's a lot here, a lot here.
There is a lot here, but it's important to remember. Like we had a guest speaker this weekend, Rabbi Pinchas Taylor, and I like the analogy he used about sometimes, you know, about his swimming pool, his swimming pool that he bought at Walmart or Home Depot, one of those stores, for his kids. And one day his wife told him, hey, bring the kids to the pool and fill it up with water. The problem is that they had filled it with sand and all sorts of things. It was too heavy for it, for him to throw out all of the garbage that was in the pool. So what did he do? He filled the pool with water. And when the pool is filled with water, then all the garbage immediately floated out. And in a way, he said that's the approach really that we should have when we have our minds filled with garbage. We can try to fight the garbage, or we can fill it with water, fill it with Torah, fill it with good thoughts. And when we fill it and flood it with good thoughts, then all the garbage will almost automatically go away. And I think that's the idea, that when we fill this world with light, our minds with light, it starts within. And then this world with light, then the garbage will eventually go away. Darkness will be expelled almost automatically.
Not all darkness is bad. We need darkness to get our sleep, to get our rest as well. There's some good points to darkness too.
That's right. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Physical darkness, absolutely right. You're right. You're right. Without darkness, we wouldn't know light. Right?
You won't appreciate the light if you only had darkness also.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and
right.
vice versa.
That's right. Well said. Well said.
Rabbi,
Yeah.
I seem to recall a story that you once told about a competition that required individuals to fill an entire room with something. And all these very bright, smart people tried to think what they're going to put in this room. And then some little kid just put on the light switch or lit a candle or something and won the contest because the room was then filled with light. I think you told a story like that much better than I just remembered it, but something like that, that I think emphasizes what we're speaking of.
That's true. Yeah, there is a story like that from the Midrash. You're right, that light fills the room more than anything else. Any other thing fills the room. It even invades the cracks of the wall. That's the power of light. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. You know, the Baal Shem Tov famously, Chassidim would tell about the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Chassidic movement, that he would be drawn to light. And he would often teach that light, in Hebrew, the word for light, or, is the same word for raz. Or sorry, has the same gematria, same numerical value as raz, which means secret. And that's because in light, there's the secret of God. God almost hides within the light, the power of light. And when we see our light function, we can understand sometimes how God functions. Light doesn't stop when it faces darkness. It doesn't retreat. It doesn't say, oh gosh, I have an obstacle, I'm going to go back. It fights it. It invades it, just like those cracks of the wall. And in a way, that's the secret that light teaches us. Light is all invasive. Now, sometimes, yes, it can be blocked, but it doesn't mean that it stops to exist. It will continue to stand there until it gets its way. Sometimes we just have to heighten the light also. And then it can infiltrate even the deepest of darkness. But yeah, that's from that analogy of the Midrash. Yeah. Yes, Ronnie.
The more you talk, the more questions that come to my mind. So is light light? Is the light that the people on the right side and the light that people see on the left side politically? They say, we see the light. Can they be the same? What is their objective? Is there an objective with light? And if it's to get rid of darkness, then why the left and the right have their own set of lights?
All right, so I'll say two things. First, I think that that's another Hebrew word. The word for Torah in Hebrew, right? Torah is the word for light. Comes from the word light. In a way to teach us that light, the light that we're thinking of and we're speaking of, is a light that has to emanate from Torah. It must come from the teachings of Torah. Otherwise, it could be, LED lights, or it could be, I don't know, fake lights. But it's not the light that we're speaking about, the light at least that God wants us to use in order to illuminate the world. That's why, again, the word Torah comes from the word light. That's one. Two, since we're learning about Rav Shasta's commentary, I'll never forget how he wants to address the congregation. I think it was in New Jersey, and they were all about, back then, today the word is social justice. Back then it was Or LaGoyim. We have to be a light unto the nation, right? That's the task of the Jews, to be a light unto the nations. And he said that when the prophet said that the Jews have to be a light unto the nations, there was no electricity. So what was he referring to? The only light that existed is light that came from candles. Now, if you notice, the only way a light can illuminate from a candle is that the candle gives a little bit of itself. It sacrifices its wax. If it doesn't sacrifice its wax, the light will be extinguished. So we talk about being a light unto the nations, but what are you doing to sacrifice your own self, to devote yourself truly to illuminating the world? It's not a hocus pocus type of thing. It starts from within. And to be a light means that I have to give my entire self, really sacrifice myself in a way. And again, it starts from within. Believe in what I'm saying, and align my life with what I'm doing. Because otherwise, there's no real sacrifice of wax, and therefore there's no real light. There was a Scottish philosopher by the name of David Hume, who was a complete atheist, but he would go to church from time to time. And his friend asked him, why do you go to church? After all, you're an atheist. You anyway don't believe in what the priest has to say. And he responded, it's true. I don't believe in what the priest has to say, but the priest believes in what he says. And from time to time, it's good to hear a person that believes in what he says. And in a way, I think it's true for our generation. A lot of people say a lot of things, and a lot of people do a lot of things. They really believe in it. Is there really a person behind that word, behind that action, that is aligned with what he or she just said, with those values that he or she is preaching? It starts within. You have to sacrifice your own wax to be a light. It connects again with Hanukkah, because the first menorah was the menorah of the temple, of the tabernacle, really, in the desert. And God instructed Moses to build that menorah. He said to Moses that it had to be made of one piece, miksha. Now, it doesn't take a skilled craftsman to understand that it's almost impossible to draw a 7 candelabra menorah made of one piece. It's like, how could he even achieve that? Why would he ask that of Moses? And the commentators, the Hasidic commentaries explain that's because if you want to be a menorah, you too have to be made of one piece. If you want to light the world, you too have to believe in what you say, believe in what you do. You say one thing, but do something else yourself, then you can't light. You have to be made of one piece. It's true in every field. I can say, well, I'm going to start a diet, but I love cheesecake. I'm going to do this, but it doesn't work. You have to be made of one piece. And that's the Or LaGoyim, that's the light unto the nations. Your wax has to be aligned with that light and has to give of itself to that light. Otherwise, it doesn't illuminate. To be made of one piece. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful lesson, because when we speak really of lighting the light, it's very nice. And yeah, it's nice slogans that makes good cliches, but we have to be aligned with it. Otherwise, it doesn't shine. It's true in every field of life.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's maybe continue a little bit, but unless again there's more comments or questions or disagreements.
Could my light be different than your light?
That's a good question. So depends on what light you're referring to. So you have a soul, I have a soul, that soul is the same. We are both reflections of God. And that soul comes from God, is a part of God, like the Tanya says, and therefore it's no different. I'm a part of God, you're a part of God. So from that perspective, we share the same, we possess the same light. The way we shine it, the way we illuminate it is different. It's different for every human being because our purpose is different. So I might shine it through specific skills, you shine it through other skills. The essence of the light is the same, but the pathway of the light is a little bit different.
And the purpose of the light is to
illuminate the world, again, to transform this darkness of the world.
well, what does, I mean, that's a whole lot of words. To
Right, so
illuminate the world.
no, I mean, this is exactly what this chapter is about, Klipat Noga. So to elevate the sparks that are imprisoned in that peel, right? I know these are lofty words, but we've been speaking about them, so I know you know what I'm referring to. But it's those sparks of God that are imprisoned in that peel. So when I say a blessing over food, for example, when I use this food for this to do good in this world, then I've elevated this food. And it's true with food, and it's true with tables, and it's true with everything in this world, and it's true with also my own inclinations. If I have an inclination that may be negative, yet I channel it towards a positive area, then I've again elevated this specific inclination. So that's the goal, really, to channel everything towards God, and in a way, by doing so, we elevate this world.